Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be doing a crafter square kit, doing the cactus. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, I am going to do a crochet kit that I got from the Dollar Tree. It is $125 plus tax. This is a very cute kit to get at such a cheap price, but of course, along with the cheap price comes with difficult instructions. So this video is to mainly help those who have purchased the Crafter Square kit and go through the instructions step by step. I will do new stitches 3 times step by step, and then the rest is going to be at my normal pace. I am going to go through each round of instructions. It's going to be blanketed, you guys, because if you have the written instructions available to you via purchasing the kit, you'll be able to use this video to just help along with the tough parts. So let's get started. This kit includes the plastic needle, yarn, stuffing, crochet hook, and plastic beads. I will be using, I've done this before, I will be doing this in a lefty. If you need a righty, just let me know. I do have I can provide you that. But yeah, so I'm going to set this aside for now. This is going to be a little complicated looking, so I think the first time I did this didn't quite exactly look the way that I wanted it to, but you know, whatever. Alright, so I am going to be using my own yarn. It's going to look way different than yours. They do have their own provided hook, like I mentioned, and this is at 3.5 millimeter hook. This is probably the same size for all the 6 characters, and if you do not know already, there's 6 previous ones. You can check them out on their website. You can only buy in bulk, so I would, you know, hey, if you could do, I think you end up getting minimum either 3 or 4 sets of each of the 6. You can gift them. You know, once you figure out the difficulty of these instructions, you can make so many more of these and just gift them. But anyway, alright, let's get into this. We are going to start by making the cactus ball. I'm going to use the green that I have, and here is that green. Now, since I have my own yarn, I'm just going to be a little bit more generous with my with it. I would recommend, however, whatever yarn they give you, to kind of use it sparingly, because they do not provide enough material. You may have enough, but everybody's crocheting stitches are different, and one might use super tight stitches and have enough. Others may have super loose stitches and then not have enough. Alright, so I'm going to use this. Now, let's show you how to make the magic loop. The magic loop is the first thing that we're going to do for our amigurumi kits. And so if you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's options to play back either slow or fast. If you don't need to hear me speak, you can lower the device on your phone and then click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so we're going to wrap this 3 times around your finger like this. We're going to have a little bit of overage to put your middle finger right on top of that. Okay, so now you can adjust your 3 strands, make it not too tight, but a little taut. We're going to take our hook and slip it underneath the 3 strands, just like this. I'm going to end up pulling this back out, and I'm going to drag this strand underneath these 2, like that. And then we're going to yarn over by putting the yarn over the hook like this, and we're going to pull it through that loop like that, and then I'm going to let go of the middle finger. I'm going to slip the loops off the index, and then I'm going to start my round 1, which is a chain 1, 6 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. So to do a chain, you just have to yarn over like this and pull this through this loop, and that is a chain. And the stitches will look like a braid. There's a loop on each side. So let me show you how to do a single crochet stitch. So you put your hook into the double loop. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through 2 of those loops. And that is your single crochet stitch. Here's the braid looking stitch, and this is the chain that we did. Alright, so then we just have to do this 5 more times. Stick your hook into the magic loop, yarn over. We're going to pull up a loop. So there's 2 loops onto your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So you have 2 single crochet stitches and your chain stitch, and you see that it's all like a French braid. Let's do 4 more of these. Stick your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And now we have 3 single crochet stitches, a chain stitch. Now we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Alright, so now I'm just going to pull this excess piece, and we're going to watch to see which one of these loops goes in first. So pull slowly, and you can see that this one here decided to move first. So what we want to do is take that loop and pull the lower half out from this end, not this end. So pull that out, and you're going to start seeing the other loop start to go into the magic loop. Pull it until it's completely gone into the magic loop, just like that. Then we're going to pull this excess piece, and you want this loop to disappear. So pull that until that loop disappears. Just to make sure you get every little bit, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and upward like that. And now we have no hole into our magic loop. And that's why it's called a magic loop, because it goes from an open hole to a closed hole. So now I'm going to count back 6 stitches from my hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to stick my hook into the 6th stitch like that, and I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through all the loops off the hook, and that is a slip stitch. Okay, so what's not in these kits that's very disappointing, that was in the first set of kits along with all the other ones. So there's 6 previous character kits. These are the new 6. They had cactus kits, they had keychain kits, and they all came with this marker. For some reason, the new 6 kits do not. And as you don't have them, I really highly recommend these markers for beginners or even advanced crocheters, just because these markers will keep track of your rows and can help you count your stitches, because I am not the person to sit for hours on end and finish a project unless I'm doing it for you guys. But even then, as you know, I break up my videos because I don't like to have them any more than 2 hours. So these guys are really good to remind you of what row you're on and how many stitches you've done. So go to a hobby store or go online and buy a pack of these. They're probably a couple of dollars, but I highly recommend that you get these for these kits. So if you do not have them, you could always cut a piece of yarn and put it underneath the last stitch we made every time we do a round. It just, you know, if it's the same color, it gets confusing. And again, they don't give you enough yarn, so you know, you don't want to waste your yarn. But yeah, so what I'm going to do with this marker, I'm going to stick it underneath the last stitch we made, so right under the braid there. And this again is going to mark the last round that I did and the last stitch I've made. So I'm going to gather up some more yarn here, and I'm going to do round 2. So for round 2, we're going to be doing 6 increasing stitches, and I'm going to show you how to do an increasing stitch. And then of course we also have our chain 1 and our slip stitch. So let's do that now. So to do a chain, you yarn over and you pull through the loop, and that is how you do a chain. Now I'm going to show you how to do an increasing stitch. So basically what we're going to be doing is putting 2 single crochet stitches into 1 stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to do our first single crochet stitch, 1, and then we're going to stick our hook back into that same stitch we just used, and we're going to do the other single crochet stitch, 2. So if you look closely, we use that 1 stitch and out comes 2 single crochet stitches, and then here's our chain stitch. So we're going to be doing this all the way around. Into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here, so do 1. Put your hook back into that same stitch and do your second one. Okay, so now we have 4 single crochet stitches in our chain stitch. Let's do this one more time with you guys. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then we're going to go back into that same stitch we just used, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 6 single crochet stitches with the chain stitch, and we're just going to complete by doing the increasing stitch all the way around. Alright, so once you've completed that, I'm going to remove the marker. We're going to count back 12 stitches, and we're going to do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9, 12. Put your hook into the 12th stitch. To do a slip stitch, you just have to yarn over. We're going to pull up through both loops, and that is a slip stitch. And we're going to mark the last stitch we made. And we're going to move on to round 3. So for round 3, we're doing 1 single crochet stitch, an increasing stitch, and alternating that 6 times to get 18 stitches. And then of course we always do the chain and the increasing stitch, and the slip stitch. So to do a chain, yarn over, pull through the loop, and that's our chain 1. Then we're going to do our alternating single and increasing stitch. Oops, I lost my yarn. the marker. I'm going to count back 18 stitches and do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And then we're going to do a slip stitch, so that's yarning over and pulling through all the loops off the hook. And we're going to mark the last stitch we made. And then we're going to move on to round 4. So for round 4, we're just going to increase the single crochet stitch. So it's going to be 2 single crochet stitches and increasing stitch 6 times and end up with 24 stitches. We are also going to do our chain and slip stitch, and I've showed you how to do all of that, so we won't have to go over that stuff again. So we're going to keep alternating these two all the way around. I'm sure you're experiencing this too, but sometimes the yarn threading is too loose that you'll split the yarn, and split by means of like this, how the yarn got in between the threading. You just got to make sure that you clear your yarn and you don't split it, because it'll just make your project look cleaner. And if you ever have to unravel it again for some reason, it'll be easier to unravel. So, and I'll be honest, sometimes I'll need a color yarn for another project. I will look into some of my old ones, and then I'll be like, well, I don't really need that old project anymore, so I'll undo it just to get the yarn that I need from it. You know, but it's a great way to reuse your yarn. I know sometimes these yarns can be quite expensive, so there's nothing wrong with reusing the yarn that you have. Okay, I'm going to remove the marker. I'm going to count back 24 stitches and do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Okay, slip stitch. Alright, so now for rounds 5 through 8, we have to chain 1, do 24 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 24 stitches in each round. So as I said, this is very useful. So if you had these or more than these, this can be an indicator for round 5, round 6, round 7, and round 8. So say you have to stop and do your homework. Say you have to stop and cook dinner. Say you have to stop and go on vacation. Whichever it is, all you know is that you have to complete whatever round instruction that has 4 tabs. So we're at round 5, 6, 7, 8. So even if I have to stop for a few minutes or for a few hours, as long as I complete doing single crochet stitches all the way around and finish up these tabs, or markers, I know I'm going to end up in the right spot I need to be in. You can also write this on a notepad too, just to, like, you know, remind you of what these are. But like I said, these are ones that I've collected from all the kits, you guys. So they did have them back in the day, and it's just a shame that these are still $125 and they don't give you these. So maybe that's something you can write in your review for them, or write a letter to, because you're still paying the same amount for less amount of items, which I think is not fair. But anyway, alright, I'm going to do this in silence. Alright, so I finished rows 5 through 8. We're going to do 9 next, but before we do, as you saw me earlier, we have a little situation here. Our project is starting to curl in, making it a little difficult to crochet. And this is because the wrong side is actually facing outside and the right side is facing inside. So what we're going to want to do is invert this, and to do that you want to just push the center to the outside and flip the rim back. Okay, so then it looks like this. You have your individual rounds, clear as day. The stitching is nice and individual. Here it was kind of a little messy. You can tuck this extra piece back here. Then I'm going to work on round 9. So for round 9 we have 2 single crochet stitches and a decreasing stitch 6 times and end up with 18 stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do a decreasing stitch. And again, I'll show you at least 3 times. So let's start this round. Okay, we have to do our single crochet stitches. Now we're going to do a decreasing stitch. So to do a decreasing stitch, we're basically going to take 2 stitches and turn it into 1. And how you do that is you stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to stick our hook into the next stitch over. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And so now you should have 3 loops onto your hook. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 3 loops off the hook, and that is our decreasing stitch. We took 2 of these to make 1 of that. Alright, so now we just have to repeat this 5 more times. Let's do our single crochet stitches, and then we're going to do our decreasing stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. And we made 2 single crochet stitches into 1 stitch. Alright, so now we have to repeat this 4 more times. Let's do our single crochet stitches. Okay, then we're going to do our decreasing stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. And we made our 2 single crochet stitches into 1. So now we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Alright, so now we're going to remove the marker. I'm going to count back to 18 stitches and we're going to do a slip stitch. 3, 5, 10, 15, what did I say? 18 stitches. 18. Okay. And just to make sure, because I'm a nut, 3, 5, 3, 10, 3, 15, 18. Okay, and then we're going to do our slip stitch. Alright, mark this off. Okay, so now for round 10, what we're doing is a single crochet stitch and a decreasing stitch 6 times to end up with 12 stitches. So we are going to alternate those two. So we're going to do our single crochet stitch, our decreasing stitch, repeat that 5 more times, single crochet stitch, decreasing stitch, repeat that 4 more times, single crochet stitch, decreasing stitch, and repeat that 3 more times. Okay, I'm going to remove the marker. We're going to count back 12 stitches and do a slip stitch, 3, 6, 9, and let's recount that. 3, 6, 9, and 12. Okay, slip stitch, mark the last stitch we made. Alright, so now it says insert the eyes and stuff with fiberfill shaped by hands. Alright, so I normally don't use these, but this is the second one that I've made, so I am just going to use it this time. The first time I made this, I embroidered the eyes because just in case this ended up in a child's hands, I don't have to worry about them choking on anything because it's not going to them. Alright. Let's look at the photo, because they don't really tell you where to stick them. They show a photo, but this is larger, because their photos are real tiny. So it looks like if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's after the 5th row, and it looks like there's 3 stitches in between. So let us do that. And there's a smiley. So we're actually going to sew the blush and the mouth before we stuff. Okay, so first you want to pick the better side, so that since you can see the seam here, we're going to look this way. We're going to count 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's put this, doesn't it look like 4 apart? This is what 4 would look like. Let me see. Yeah, let's put them 4 apart. So here's one, here's the other. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is flip this inside out for a little bit. See how you have these little pegs? We're going to take the safety closers and slip them on. You're going to feel it snap. You want to snap it to the lowest you can get it. Okay. We're going to do the other one. Ooh. Okay. See, and they kind of like aren't secure. That's why I don't want little children to have them. Or pets if you intend on giving this to a pet. Alright, so now we have to sew on the smile and the blush. Okay, so I've got my needle, I've got my embroidery thread, I'm going to thread it up, and looking at the photo, if this is row 5, 6, so it looks like it wants to be on row 6, and then it looks like there's maybe 1 or 2 stitches in between, and it looks like it ends on 7. It's a little off, but we're gonna sew it on the row. So let us come up onto the 6th row, somewhere in the middle of this cactus. I actually want to come up on this half here. Okay, here. And I'm not gonna pull this all the way, enough to tie it off. But now I'm going to go into this other side. But I want to come up from the next row down because we have to make the smile portion. So let's do that. Now don't pull this straight across, you want a little bit of slack, because we're going to come up through this here, like that. And then you can actually go back down into that same spot. Okay, so you have your smile. We're going to flip this inside out and just tie it off. And you can not tie it too tightly. Oh my gosh, I think the eye just went through. That's not good. I'm going to cut this off. And we're going to have to solve our eye issue. Okay, so flipping this back, and we lost an eye. It's right here. I'm going to try to slip this out. Alright, what to do? Well, I can try putting it on a thread so that it doesn't do that again. So I'm going to do that here. Right, see, we're piercing that thread, that yarn. Put this back on here. Right, so it's kind of in the same spot now. We have our little smiley. Then I'm going to grab our pink yarn and I'm going to do the blush. Alright, so I'm going to thread up with the pink. And looking at this, it's like a little French knot. I am terrible at these. I'm not going to do them. I'm just gonna sew around one of the stitches because I really suck at them. So come up here and then we're just gonna come down one. And I might do that again. Okay, then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So, like that. And you want to make sure you have enough slack in there. You don't want it pulling or else it's going to dimple your project. I'm going to go straight down. And I'm going to do this twice like I did with the other one. Now that you have the blush, we're going to flip this inside out, and you're just going to tie off the pink, and we're going to do a loose knot. Okay, and cut it. Alright, now we can do the fiber fill. And I like getting the facial features out of the way so that, how did this get like this? So that we don't have to worry about hiding stitches and everything, or knots. Alright. So moving along, we're on the last round for the cactus ball, and all it is 6 decreasing stitches all the way around, and then we're going to fasten off and leave enough for sewing, so I guess 5 inches. Oh, and I didn't even stuff this. What am I doing? Hold on, let me go grab my stuffing. Jeez. Alright, so I have my own stuffing here, and I'm going to be putting this inside the cactus head. And I think from my experience they do give you enough fiber fill, so but I like to have my little dollies to have a firm feel to it, so I'm going to be putting more in there. And you do have to split this up because we do have the pot to do after this. So, alright. Once you get the fiber fill in there, we can start on the last round, which is doing a decreasing stitch all the way around. When you do this though, make sure to not crochet into your fiber fill. It's going to pull it outside of your project, and it's going to stick out real bad. So, alright, so let's do round 11. And as you do this, it's going to stretch out your stitch, so you want to try to keep a very tight stitch by just using your middle finger to hold down the stitches. This is a nice size stitch. You don't want to get looser than this. When you do decreasing stitches, it tends to stretch it out more. So just be mindful of that. Right, remove the marker. I'm going to count back 6 stitches, and we're going to fasten it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, and to fasten it off, you just cut about 5 inches. And I only say that because that was in the instructions for the first 6 characters. What we're going to do is to fasten off, you yarn over, and then you pull through the loop and all the way out. So keep pulling till all of that comes through the loop, And then we're going to pull that to tighten up that knot. And it doesn't say anything about closing this hole. The first 6 of characters kind of did, so I'm not doing that here. We're just going to sew this onto the pop after we make it. But we're going to shape up the head, make it more of a round bulbous cactus head. Look how cute that is so far. Alright, let's move on. Alright, to make the flower pot, I do have my own yarn again. It's actually this multicolored one because I don't have just a solid color of brown. So we're going to work with this. And it's going to work out. It'll be alright. Alright. So I'm going to show you how to do the magic loop again. Again, like I said, I'll do things 3 times. So wrap this around your finger 3 times like this with a little bit of overage to put your middle finger here. You can tighten this up a little bit if you need to. We're going to slip our hook underneath the 3 strands. Before I pull this back out, I'm going to pull this strand underneath these 2. So let's do that now. Right? Now from here you want to yarn over your hook and you're going to pull this through this loop. Like that. So now you can let go of your middle finger, you can slip this off of your index, and then we can start the first round. So for this round we're going to do 8 single crochet stitches this time. For the cactus head we did 6, so this time we're going to do 8. So you're going to want to do the 8 single crochet stitches. And I think this will make for a fancier terracotta pot with the multicolored yarn. But yeah, just make sure you have 8 here. Alright, so now I'm going to pull this excess piece. We're going to see which loop goes in first, this one or this one. So pull it slowly. And as we see, the one behind it is going in first, so we're going to pull out this lower half, not the top here, but down here. And as we pull that, you're going to start seeing the other loop start to go into the magic loop. Alright, you're going to want to pull that till that is entirely gone into the magic loop. So now we're going to pull the excess piece and we're going to make this loop disappear. So do that now. And once that's gone, just to close off this hole, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and up. And you're going to feel the little bit of slack pull. And you don't have to pull too tight, but this is now closed. And we're going to count back 8 stitches and do a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do the slip stitch. And then we're going to mark off our last stitch. Okay. So now for round 2, we're basically going to be doing an increasing stitch all the way around. So let's do that now. I'm going to get some more yarn here. Okay, I want to remove the marker. We're going to count back 16 stitches and do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. And then we're going to mark off our last stitch. It's so weird doing everything in lefty. You guys, I've been doing so many videos with righty that it feels weird and it looks weird to me now. Alright, so for the third round, we're going to alternate a single crochet stitch and an increasing stitch 8 times to end up with 24 stitches. So let's do that. And again, if you guys have the instructions, this should be a supplement to the instructions. If you don't have the instructions, I highly recommend that you get them, because you get everything that's included into the kit. For $1.25, it's pretty a nice deal, because not only do you have everything, almost everything you need in the kits. You don't get the markers, but you should go out and get your own markers. But with the instructions, you can make different color variations. Dollar Tree also sells yarn, by the way, and they do have pretty colors. Some of them are a lot thicker, so you can make what would be a tiny cactus to a larger plush if you wanted. Because I'm already using thicker yarn, my cactus is going to be larger than your cactus. And if you want something really micro, you can go to an actual hobby store and get a micro crochet needle and very thin doily thread to crochet your cactus and make a miniature one. That would be so cute. But I think that would be more advanced, because the tinier it gets, the harder it is to work with. So okay, so I'm going to remove the marker now. We are going to be counting 24 stitches and do a slip stitch. 5, 10, 15, 20, 23, 24. And if you have these instructions, you can see that the images are so dark because the yarn is dark as well. So it's going to be ultimately really hard to see these stitches on camera. So, you know, try to trust your eyes to kind of see where these stitches are. Alright, so for round 4, we're going to be using the back loop only. And we're doing 24 single crochet stitches, so it's easy stitches, but we're using the back loop only. And what that means is, as we look at these stitches here, like I said, it looks like a braid because it comprises of this side and this side. So facing you like this side here is called the front loop, this side here is called the back loop. So this on every stitch is considered the back loop. And what we're going to be using for this round is the back loop. So let's start our single crochet stitches. You're going to stick your hook into the back loop like that, and we're going to do our single crochet stitch like we normally do. Right, that's one single crochet stitch. Now we're going to go into the next back loop right here, and we're going to do another single crochet stitch. One more time with you guys. Stick the hook into the back loop only. and we're going to do our single crochet stitch. Now if you do this right, you're going to see that the front loop is left behind, leaving this row of front loop. So you want to make sure that this is there, so which means you've got the right loop and you're crocheting into the right loop. So let's do the rest single crochet stitches, but we're going to be using the back loop only. And so as you notice, it's kind of naturally bending where we are sticking our hook at, and so this is actually going to form the bottom of our pot. Now I've done these before. There used to be a kit that did succulents, and they were larger than this. And what I did was I took a piece of cardboard and cut it in the circumference of the bottom of the pot. And you can do that for this as well, to make sure that that pot bottom is flat. So when you place it down on your table, it's lying flat. Because as you add the fiber fill, it could, you know, make the bottom of the pot bulbous, making it hard for it to stand. Now I'm not going to do that in this video, but if you have the opportunity to get a piece of cardboard, you know, maybe from an empty tissue box or what have you, cut a circular piece and stick it at the bottom of the pot prior to stuffing. Alright, I'm into the last stitch here. I'm going to remove the marker, and then I'm going to count back 24 stitches, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 24. Okay. So into the back loop of the 24th stitch, we're going to do our slip stitch. And I'm going to mark off the last stitch we made using both loops. Okay. So now for rounds 5 and 8, similar to that of the cactus, 5 through 8, I have my 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's swap out this one. So I just got to make sure I use up all these markers, and all we're doing is 24 single crochet stitches. I am going to do this in silence. Alright, so I did rounds 5 through 8. Remove the markers, and you can see that back loop only, it made this really nice crisp turn into the project. So that forms the bottom of the pot. Now we're going to do round 9 and introducing a new stitch, the double crochet stitch. We have to do 24 of these. So this is going to be fun. I like doing double crochet stitch. It's not my favorite, I mean, you know, it's not my worst stitch, but I like this stitch because it's longer, so when you're doing like a table runner or something, you can imagine it's a lot faster to get the runner made as opposed to doing single crochet stitches like this. Anyways, to start you have to chain 2. So chaining 1, by the way, is the equivalent height to a single crochet stitch, and this is universal. This is a general knowledge tidbit here. Now when you do 2 chains, this is going to be the typical height for a double crochet stitch. So chain 2, and then after you do that, I'm going to show you how to do a double crochet stitch. So how you do one is from here, after making 2 chains, you're going to yarn over and you're going to put your hook into the next stitch here. Then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So that, my friends, is a double crochet stitch. So let's do this again with you guys. Yarn over into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. So now you have 2 loops left on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And that is 2 double crochet stitches, and these are the 2 chains. So it's similar to doing how we've been doing the single crochet rows, except obviously it's a different height. So yarn over into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops onto your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2. So now we have 3 double crochet stitches and our 2 chain stitches. So what we're going to do now is do double crochet stitches all the way around. And again, refer to your instructions to know how many stitches you need per round, because I do just breeze through it. Sometimes I do it in silence, so you won't be hearing any stitch count. And again, these videos are to help, it's supplemental help to the written instructions that you had purchased getting the kit. So I may not show everything step by step, but I show you enough to get through some of these rounds, because some of them are just really difficult, especially if you are a beginner. Okay, and like I said, I love this stitch because it's getting height now, and this is making a really nice rim for your pot. So this is really nice. Oops, I forgot to yarn over. Oh, I keep forgetting to yarn over. I'm so used to doing single crochet stitches. Alright, so that was the last stitch. I'm going to remove the marker. We're going to count back 24 and do a slip stitch. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. Do your slip stitch. Okay, so let's see where this takes us. So then it just says, it doesn't even say to fasten off. Jeez Louise. But then again, I don't think any of them did. Oops, I hit the camera. Alright, so I'm going to fasten off here. I'm going to make, we don't need the tail. We're going to do the soil, but I'm going to make that one have the tail for when we sew. So, let's cut this one at maybe 1.5 inches, and we're going to weave the end into the pot. So, to fasten off, you yarn over. We're going to pull this through the loop and all the way out. We're going to tighten up this stitch here, and then we're going to weave this in and out of the pot. And it's going to be harder for me to blend because my yarn is multicolored. So you can see there's that moment of color here. That's fine, whatever. Like I said, this kind of reminds me of some really cool terracotta pot, lantern, whatever. Okay. So we have our pot. Check this out. Alright, bit by bit we're going to get this going. So next we're going to do the soil that's going to go on the inside of the pot here, which is why I chose to just finish off the edging of the rim of the pot, because we're going to sew with the soil, and then I can imagine we're supposed to sew the head onto that. So, alright, let's prep for the soil. Alright, so I can't tell, I don't remember what kind of yarn or what colors of yarn came in this kit, so I'm actually going to use a different kind of, well, it's definitely different color, but a different color from the pot to do the soil. I believe that maybe it is a different color, but anyways, we're going to be doing the soil now. So we're going to do the magic ring again, and I'm going to show this to you. Let me see. So we're going to wrap this around our finger 3 times with a little bit of overage to put our middle finger on here. Then you can like tighten up and straighten out these strands. We're going to slip our hook underneath the 3 strands. I'm going to pull this back out, and I'm going to drag this strand underneath these 2 like that. Then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull that through the loop, and I'm going to let go of my middle finger, let go of slip off the loops off your index, and we're going to start the first round. Now it's crinkly because, like I said before, I just reuse my yarn sometimes. So it left a crinkle from the last project I had it for, which was a knitting project actually. But anyway, so this is going to need 8 single crochet stitches. So we are going to do the other steps indicated on the instructions before and after we do our 8 single crochet stitches. We've gone over this a number of times, so you just have to rewind back if you need a step-by-step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, so we have our 8 single crochet stitches. I'm going to be now pulling this excess piece to see which one of these 2 loops are going to move first. So we have the 2 here from our little beginning that we did. So pull this slowly, and this color, I mean, you probably have a darker color than I do, so this color is going to be hard to see, but pull this slowly until you see some movement. Alright, so I have found my loop that is moving in first. I'm going to pull the bottom half of this loop out from our magic ring first, so that the other loop will start to disappear. And the fact that this yarn is alright. Yeah, that one section was used and abused, so it's not as, it's all furred and everything. Alright, so pull that lower half out, make that other loop disappear into the magic ring as you see here, and once it's all gone into the magic loop like that, we're going to start pulling this excess piece again, and then the final loop is going to go into the magic loop as well. That, and then just to make sure you get every little tidbit to pull, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and a little up, and you can feel that extra bit just pull a little, and don't pull it too much. Oh my gosh, hold on, I had put lotion on my hands. I just washed my hands. I took a break, washed my hands, put on my ring, took off my ring, and I forgot to put it on. Alright, woo. Alright, so from here we're going to count 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slip your hook into the 8th stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to mark off the last stitch we've made. Okay, so we have our first round done. For the second round, we're going to be doing increasing stitches in each stitch all the way around. All right, I'm just going to grab some yarn for my, this was supposed to be a scarf. But yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes yarn is expensive. You gotta make do with what you have, and I am proud to admit that. You know, we all can't get the new kits all the time. Anyway, alright, so let's do our increasing stitches all the way around. This kind of looks like soil. This looks like soil if you don't water it for a few days. Which reminds me, I have to water my plants after this, because I saw it. Some of the pots were, it had been raining for days over here, and believe it or not, some of my pots need some watering. But it is sunny today, so that's probably what's doing it in. Tell you what, if I successfully make this cactus, this is probably going to be the only plant I make this year, because with the weather being that it is, my seedlings aren't growing as good as they would. So, a little disappointing. Right, remove the marker. We're going to count back 16 stitches. 3, 5, 10, 15, and 16. Then we're going to mark the last stitch we made. Right, And then for the last round, this was a quick one. We're going to alternate a single crochet stitch and an increasing stitch 8 times, and we're going to end up with 24 stitches. Getting more yarn. Okay, we're going to remove the marker. I'm going to count back 24 stitches and do a slip stitch. 5, 10, 15, 20, 24. Okay. All right. So now that we're here, we're going to be sewing this onto into the pot. So we're going to fasten this off. You want to get yourself, I mean, you know, like I said, in the old instructions they would say 5 inches. Is it 5? I don't know. It just really bites that they don't tell you anymore, because it's not like they give you enough yarn anyway. Anyway, all right, so we're going to fasten off, and you just do that by yarning over. We're going to pull this through the loop, and we're going to pull it all the way out like that, and we're going to tighten up that loop there like that. You can leave this on because it's going to be tucked away into our little pot there. Looks nice. Okay. It has all the sewing instructions at the end. So we have our head, we have the soil, we have the pot. Next we're going to be doing the branch. So let's set this aside. I'm going to go back to my green. Excuse me, little one. I have Dexter here. He wants to always be up in my grow. Alright. So I've done the magic loop 3 times already. You could always rewind the video to figure out how to do that step by step if you're not comfortable yet. And I'm going just to move on and do this at my normal pace for now. And we're going to be doing the make a branch. So while you're here, comment below. Let me know how it's going. I know these instructions are tough. Don't beat yourself up, okay, you guys? Like, trust me, this isn't the end of the world if you can't figure out this kit, because lo and behold, there are other kits that help you out pretty well. You know, I hate to say it, but you get what you pay for. So for $1.25, not too shabby, but the instructions definitely have become really, really better compared to the first 6 characters, but they still need some help on it. So alright, so we have this ready to go. For round 1, we're doing 5 single crochet stitches, and this is where I'm not a fan of, because I hate when they get tiny. It's really hard to, you know, manipulate the yarn. You need like tiny fingers. Okay, so I'm just doing 5 single crochet stitches and the chain stitch down here. And this is probably mid-video. I'm not too sure how far I'm going to get, if I'm going to do this all in one video or do a part video. But while I'm here, I do want to mention that if you do need extra help, check out the perks to my membership, you guys. First tier is just for, you know, highlights in chat rooms and stuff like that, or in comment sections. There's also a priority, really? How come I can't speak right now? Priority over video requests. As you know, my list is very long, and it took how many months here to get this lefty done. Apologies, but yeah. I mean, if you're on, I think that's either tier 1 or tier 2, so it's worth having your requests get bumped up to the front of the list. So, and I have a lot to do. I try to get to everything, but it just keeps growing, which I am happy for. Just, I really want to get the content out as quickly as possible. It's just, there's not enough. I have a full-time job, and this YouTube life is pretty full-time too, so it's really tough to do overtime on this thing. All right, for the second round, we're going to be doing 5 single crochet stitches. So I have stiff yarn here. I'm sure you don't. You guys probably have the nice soft yarn that they provide you. So it's just going to be more difficult for me with the plastic hook. There you go. Be careful with the tension on the hook. It is made out of plastic. You could break it or melt it with the heat off your fingers. I've done that. I've bent metal ones too. So I'm not saying I'm the Incredible Hulk. I'm just saying some of them are flimsy. And it's supposed to be relaxed, but sometimes I'm not relaxed. Yeah, so to continue, I believe video request priority is in tier 1, I think. And then tier 2, tier 3 is more like birthday gifts and membership anniversary gifts. You have to have a full lapse of membership to get that. But then I think the 4th tier is for Zoom meetings. And I'm bringing this up because I did have a lot of questions or comments. The comments, if you have questions, should be as descriptive as possible and time-stamped. Put the timestamp of the video that you're asking, because it's hard for me to answer questions. Most of the time, believe it or not, the questions are so vague, and I really want to help, but I don't know how to help if I have to do some detective work before I figure out what the question is. So, but the one-on-ones, you get a certain number of sessions a month, and I can sit with you for an hour and just go over, whatever project you're working on and help you out that way. 3. 5. Some people are visual learners. Some people are, you know, learn just through talk, through print, and then some need, you know, the one-on-ones. Some work well in classrooms, so it's really up to you, but it's available there. So check out my memberships and see if anything can help you out, or if these videos are just good enough. So, all right, for round 3, we have to do 4 single crochet stitches and an increasing stitch and end up with 6 stitches. So, and it is getting harder for me to see these stitches. So 4 single crochet stitches. Okay, and then for the last one, we're going to do an increasing stitch. Yowzes. I don't even know if, okay. Okay, remove the marker. Believe it or not, we have 2 more rounds. 3, 6. Okay. So for the next 2 rounds, and because I am in lunch at the moment and I'm hungry and I'm not thinking straight, so I'm going to use another tag. So this is round 4 and this is round 5. So we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. I lost my yeah, I'm just gonna do as much as I can within my lunch and then shovel some food into my mouth and get back to work. So I mean, seriously guys, this started out to be just helping out a friend, and because of the comments I've received of just pure joy and gratitude, it made me feel like I need to help more, because sometimes, you know, I know how it feels to be discouraged about learning something new or not getting something, but I'm the crazy type to keep trying and trying and trying until I either make it or not. So I thought maybe I can help out. Oh, and I just removed that. I figured I can help out. So this is how I'm going to do it. And this lefty video was a request. So I really hope that this is helpful. And that's my work computer. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then that seems to be the last bit of it. So I'm going to, we have to sew this on, so I'm going to give myself some tail here. And we're going to cut this off. All right, we're going to fasten this off here all the way out, tighten it up. This piece that's in from the magic loop, we're just going to shove this down in there. We don't need that. It's going to act as a little bit of stuffing. All right. See what time we got. Okay. So this one should be quick. This one is a flower. Make a flower. Is it more than one round? All right, let's do the flower. All right, so for this, I'm gonna grab my pink yarn. Dexter, man, you are in my way. Let me just grab some pink yarn here. All right. So for this one, hold on a sec. All right, I'm going to do my magic loop. Okay. And once we get to this point here, what we're going to do is the, as it says, we're going to chain 2 here. Okay. Then we're going to do 2 unfinished double crochet stitches, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to yarn over. You're going to stick your hook into the loops. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now we're going to yarn over and put our hook into the loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we've done the double crochet, and you saw what I did there. Before we completed it, we just started another one and then completed it. All right, so I'll show you again, you guys. Yarn over into the loops, yarn over again, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops now. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and you'll have 2 loops left. We're going to yarn over and put back into the 2 loops here. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we have our 2 unfinished double crochet stitches. We have to do a 2 chains, 1, 2, and then a slip stitch. So this looks different, but it's the same thing we've been doing. Stick your hook into the double loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through all loops, and that's the slip. All right, so now we just have to do this 5 times all together. So 4 more times. We'll do our chain 2. We're going to do our 2 unfinished double crochet stitches, and I only showed you twice, so I guess I'll do 2 more petals, because this is considered a petal. So stick your hook into the double loops. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, stick your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, we're gonna do 2 of these. Oops, my yarn just fell. Yeah, that's not fun. I have like the tiniest workstation. It's shameful. All right, let's do another one. Yarn over into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over into the double loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now, obviously we just have 2 here. Let me just scoot this down because we have to do 3 more. So, all right, so we're going to chain 2. Then we're going to do our slip stitch, and then we get to do this all over again. All right, so one more time with you guys. Chain 2, yarn over, put your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, put your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, now we're going to do this again. Yarn over into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, put your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. We're going to chain 2 and do a slip stitch. So I'm just going to do this 2 more times, you guys. And again, since we have to fit 2 more, I'm going to try to scoot over. Try not to lose this excess piece because we do have to close our magic loop. So let me just, all right. And I'm going to do the 2 remaining petals. And then I just have to fit 1 more, and it's definitely getting a little tough to do. I'm gonna see how much more I can scrunch these guys over. There we go. Need a lot more room actually. Okay, so then once we slip stitch our last stitch here, we're going to fasten off. Let's cut ourselves some slack. Okay, we're going to fasten this off. That. Now we have to close this magic loop. So just like we did with every other one, it just might be a little bit tougher because we have all of this to work with. But the same situation, you want to pull this, see which one goes in first. And it might be a little tougher because it's such a longer, I don't even know if I can, oh my gosh. I guess if it won't go, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is tough. There's so many stitches on here. It was brought to my attention that this is done through the magic loop. Now, when I did it in the righty video, I really I did it a different way. But it looks like there's no way this sucker's going to be closing. But I could be wrong. So you just want to pull that one loop as much as you possibly can that it will allow you to. And then once you get to that stopping point, then pull the excess. Figure it out then. This is just really tough. Comment below if you've gotten this far, if you're able to do it, maybe because my yarn is thicker. But yeah, this isn't happening. Like, I feel like I'm gonna have to makeshift my own, so my hands are lotiony. Maybe I pulled the wrong one. Man. This is rough. This is the worst. I'm sweating. Yeah, I didn't do it this way. But if you're in this position that I am right now, I have a way that we can fix this. Okay, and that's by the powers of needling. All right, I am not gonna spend the rest of my time here trying to force how many stitches to go into a magic loop. So I've made the executive decision, and I am going to just sew it together. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, comment below if you got tripped up with that. But I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna sew the heck out of it. Hope for the best. So I know Dexter's so disappointed. No, he wants his lunch too, so. Alright, so what I'm going to do is where the two petals kind of meet, I'm just going to slip my needle like behind those loops, and I'm just going to pull this whole thing closed this way. And that's not exactly how I did in the last video, but kind of what I did. But we're gonna get this, so it's just a flower. We got the main parts done. After this whole thing, we are just sewing, you guys. So we might just have this all in one video. Kind of psyched about it. We definitely have to have my lunch, because this one just was a doozy. Alright, so I went through every petal where it joins, and I'm just gonna start pulling it till that hole is now closed. Alright, and then there's a bunch of stuff that goes along with this. Has it all nice in the illustrations. Yeah, okay. Alright, so I tighten this up. I'm going to use these pieces that just didn't quite work and tie it around to keep it taut in there. Okay, and then when we're gonna sew this onto the branch, so it'll work out. Don't worry about it. But yeah, you can arrange this to make it look nicer. Alright, so when we come back, we are going to start assembling these pieces that we have here. It's going to be real cute. Can't wait. Alright, so first things first, we are going to be sewing on the soil to the pot. And I'm going to sew, it just says, so put it together and then fiber fill it. So you're not going to put it on top here because this is the lip of the pot. I'm going to put it just below the double crochet stitches. And I'm going to try to use the inside loops here. I don't want to come out through the other side because then you'll see this yarn. But it should be the same amount of stitching, so you could be meticulous and do that. Let me see. Maybe. And this is already over 2 hours. I'm just gonna let it go because we're already here, and I just want to get this done in one go. I think I'm gonna try to get things done in one video from now on, but it's really hard sometimes because some of the projects that I do is fairly lengthy. So, but where I can do one video, I will. When you're doing this, just make sure that you don't go entirely all the way around because we do have to stuff it with fiber fill, and you don't want to overstuff because you don't want to bulge out the pot. You want it to have nice straight lines, and you want the soil to be flat because we also have to sew on the cactus head on it, and I want it to look all bulgy. This extra piece, we'll just tuck that in here. And again, I'm just matching stitch for stitch. Okay, so I have this little bit open. I'm just going to take some fiber fill and I'm going to stuff it enough just to have some volume in there, but I don't want to overstuff it to where it doesn't look like a pot anymore. Okay, so I think that'll be good enough. Got a little bit of bulge, but not too bad. Right, then we can continue sewing all the way around. Try not to sew into your fiber fill because you don't want to accidentally rip the fiber fill towards the outside of your project, because then you'll be able to see that and it's an eyesore. So I actually have seen a grown cacti. Wait, cactus is one, cacti is more. Okay. I've seen a fully grown cactus when I was in Arizona once. And I have a picture next to one. It was pretty tall. There's different ones, but I had like the typical cartoony ones you see with the 3 points on it. I don't know, branches. But coming from the East Coast, that definitely was a sight to see, as you can imagine. Alright, so as we're nearing the end of this, I'm going to then figure out a way to make my knot here. So just use what you can. And I'm going to make my knot. I'm going to cut down this piece here. I'm going to grab my hook and just under the surface, go under the soil, avoid the fiber fill, come up where that excess piece is. We're going to do a yarn over and then pull that through the loop, until the tail is completely gone, and then try to remove this without pulling out the fiber fill like I did. And then you can resituate your pot. So now we have our pot and we have our soil. Okay, and like I said, if you put that cardboard down here, it'll lie flatter than it is, because once you add stuffing, it'll tend to start bowing out. I think this is alright. Alright, so then it says we're going to sew the cactus onto the flower pot. Okay, so we just want to situate this right in the center. And I think the soil's 8 and this is 6, so we might have to skip a couple of stitches here, but I'm just gonna go around like this. And I'm gonna try to match up the stitches. There's going to be 2 left over in the soil, so I guess you could just use that to tie your knot. Okay. And once you've gone all the way around, like I said, you can take this opportunity to tie your knot. Okay, gonna cut the piece short. Then I'm gonna come in from the cactus head so I can hide the green in the cactus since that is green. And go just under the surface, up next to the excess piece, and then drag that into the cactus head. And try to pull out the project without the fiber fill. If you think that you're going to, you can just push it out through the other side somewhere. Alright, got our cactus sewn onto the pot. Alright, then it says add the branch and the bud. So now we're going to take this. I'm going to reference the photo. Looks like it's on the left side, like an ear. Like that, so just gonna stick it on like that. You know, it's kind of at the same level of the eye, so I'm gonna go lower. And like I did with the cactus head, I'm just gonna sew stitch for stitch. Then do your knot. Okay. I'm going to cut this piece short. I'm going to drag this into the head. Okay. I'm going to push it out to the other side. So we got the branch. Then we have the flower. And take my beautiful flower here. I'm going to thread this up. Okay, and it looks like it's kind of on the side like this. Let me trim this down a little bit. Okay. And then I guess we're gonna put this here. Let's see. All right. All right, then I'm going to tie my knot. Okay. You could weave it back into the flower. I'm just gonna try to bury this into the cactus, and hopefully the bright pink won't shine through the head. Okay, push it on the other side. So we have our flower, and then there's like a few French knot buds on the top of the branch. Yeah, I'm not skilled, like I said, to do the French knot. I've tried in other projects, it just never worked out. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie the biggest knot I can possibly make up on here. So here's once. I'm going to tie it maybe 3-4 times. I just want this knot to get a little bit bigger because I don't want it to pass through the stitching. Okay, so I think I got a good one right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my needle through some of this stitching. I'm going to create my buds, and then from here I'm going to just try to figure out a way to make the buds by just sewing, because I don't do French knots. I'm only going to put a few in here. I don't need to go crazy. You can put as much as you want. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is come up through the branch, pop in next to the excess piece, and then just drag that inside the branch if I can. Or that could be an accidental one. Maybe this one's blooming. Let's fan this out. There you go. Okay. So here we have our cactus. Oh, we gotta do the blush. Not done yet. Oh no, I did do it. Silly me. We did the mouth. Okay. We did everything. So, there you have it, you guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Let me know how your cactus turned out. Again, these are different colors, but I guess they fairly look the same. Look how cute this is. At any rate. So join me again in future videos. I am going to be doing more kits. If you want to recreate these, go out and check your local Dollar Tree to see if they sell these. They are hotcakes. So you always have to go in there, and they don't have, because I asked my own Dollar Tree and they didn't really, they had random shipping. So they didn't know when things were going to come in, and they didn't guarantee that these would be in every time because it's some random that orders whatever. So that's the annoying part. If you actually go to their website, you'll find the first original 6. But again, you have to get that in bulk. I think you have to get all 6 characters, and then it comes in a case, so you get 3 or 4 copies of each. But again, you can always gift them. $1.25. I'm not too sure if buying in bulk ends up becoming cheaper, but go check their website. I'm not affiliated at all. I'm just trying to help you guys out. So, at any rate, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.